going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm here today with another Hairdressers Reacts video. The other ones have been really popular, so I thought I would bring you another. What else can I do? I'm on lockdown. If you're enjoying these Hairdresser Reacts videos, comment down below. If you see any videos you want me to react to, put them in the comments down below as well. Subscribe, like the channel, and let's get into the video.
No, I was blonde for quite a long time, and then last July I went into the salon and I went a bit darker.
So what we're currently looking at is that she's got a grown out colour, which her ends look a lot warmer than this colour that she's looking at, that we're looking at the minute. She's obviously been to the salon before, but now she can do it at home.
It was easier to maintain if it was a bit darker. I'm just going to have to do this by myself. Got a big old box
Jerome Russell. That is a staple for all the home bleachers out there.
filled with Jerome Russell paraphernalia. So without any further ado, I am so hot, I am so stressed.
She's so anxious about what she's going to do to herself. I'm just wondering what peroxide she's got. She's got a lot of them. Hopefully nothing over 30 or 40 volt. Because if she has, she's just going to fry her hair.
Is it too early to have some wine? The answer is yes.
No. Bit early.
Okay. Suppose I'm doing this then. Hair has been sectioned. I've put a tiny bit of coconut oil on my ends. I know that you're supposed to do the roots last. But what a fucking faff it is to go through and section your whole head and then...
That's what we do. That's what we do in a salon. So she put coconut oil on her ends, obviously to protect them, so there's no bleach going to go on their ends, on her ends. I mean, you don't want any of the bleach going on a pre-lightened end already, depending on how long she's going to leave it on for. And looking at how dark her hair is naturally, she's going to have to leave it on a while. But her ends do still need lifting if she wants to hit a blonde.
I have to go back and do the roots. I mean, I will try and do that. Hello. I thought I'd do a little voiceover for this little bit while I'm whacking the bleach on my hair. It's not really my head, is it? It's just the length.
Technically, she's working on her mid-length, and then she'll go to her roots and then just refresh those ends and just clean them out slightly. As a hairdresser, that is what we do. Wouldn't recommend it at all to be doing it at home. We shall see.
My hair. Okay, the bleach is on. My head is so itchy.
So... first of all, what I was going to say is her hair has lifted so well, which is an indication of she's using a very high peroxide, and then she's just said her head's really itchy. So she's using anything 30 plus for her head to be itchy. And her ends, I thought she wasn't going to put it on her ends just yet. Her ends look like chewing gum.
Because that took a really long time, and my ends are dying. I know I said I wasn't going to put any on my ends, but I just did. They still look dark in places. And they are frying off as you...
Her ends look terrible.
You can see. I'm not going to leave it on my...
The application looks terrible, to be fair. There's so many dark patches.
Much longer because it really hurts. And I'm usually like not worse about that sort of thing, but I'm really scared about my ends as well. I used 4 bottles and 4 sachets of bleach, and my hair is still really dark in places. It really hurts.
She's used 40 volt. She's probably used 40 volt because if her head really hurts, it's just ripping her scalp to pieces.
Owie, owie, owie. It's a bit later. I've had a mask in my hair for a couple of hours, but I'm still going to leave it in for a little while longer.
Okay, so her application at the beginning sounded good. So she's put it on her mid-lengths and ends. Then she should have left it to process. I'm not trying to give tips here. I'm just stating the obvious. Mid-lengths and ends, she's left. Well, she didn't even leave it on. She probably did her mid-lengths and ends, went straight to her roots, and then she put it straight to her ends, which is why her roots and her root application is terrible. Her roots are like bright yellow, her ends are broken white, and her mid-lengths are orange.
We've got some colours going on. Okay, so it's the next day now. This is the colour of my hair. Orange, yellow.
So what you can see is her ends are really, really blonde, which is the previous bleach service she had at the salon. And if you can see that real dark, darker band in the middle where it's lifted slightly, that's the root stretch she had in the salon, which blended into her natural perfectly. But she's obviously forgot that that colour was still in the hair, and that's just not lifted really well. And then you've got, what's that, 3 inches away from her root, which is orange, and then she's got her roots, which are yellow.
So light brown, dark brown, blonde. And yeah, we're going to go for round 2. I have no idea how I did at the back. I probably missed a lot. Hello, voiceover Hannah is back again. So yeah, it's day 2 at this point, and we're going in for another round of bleach. Okay, the bleach is on. I'm going to put a plastic bag on my head because I can't be bothered to foil this because I'm shit at foiling anyway. So yeah, it still looks really dark in places, and I ran out of bleach.
So she's gone for a second round of bleach. Most probably 40 vol again. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets a lot of hair falling out or breakage, because bleaching your hair with 2 lots of 40 vol in less than 24 hours ain't good. And she's still missing patches. I mean, she's not a hairdresser, so, but this is why coming into a salon, our technical ability and our technical placement is so important, because we'll make sure we get the lift, then we get the saturation of colour, which a lot of home colours don't tend to think about. They don't tend to think about the saturation of colour to get on the hair to make sure you're going to get the desired lift and result.
I ran out of the developer, so I had to use a different strength developer. So I guess it would be safe to say that it's all got
Just tears. She's got tears. You can see the placement, which is terrible. She's gone through from her roots to her ends again. Roots have lifted even more, ends have lifted even more, and that mid band is still warmer than the rest.
a bit much for me. I got very, very upset when washing my hair, rinsing my hair out. Not necessarily because of how it looks. I mean, it doesn't look fucking good, does it? But just the amount of hair that's coming out.
I told you, just leave it to professionals, because bleaching, she bleached her hair twice in 24 hours without using any sort of conditioning agents, protecting agents. I've no idea what Volve she used with the bleach peroxide, but I'm taking it was 30 or 40 Vol, and that is why she is now head in hands, hair coming out.
I've bleached my hair like probably 30 times before, and this is, I think, the worst it's ever been. So much is coming out. I still think it's not.
So that orange band in the middle, that is getting lighter, but that's the colour that was put on in the salon to create the stretched out root. And because it was done really well, she obviously didn't even think that she still had colour in her hair, because it blended out with her roots so good. When you're putting bleach on top of colour, it opens up every bit of hair history. And that's one thing when we're in the salon and when we're consulting with clients and consulting with you, that we aren't prying. We just want to know all your hair history, because we don't want that to happen. And as soon as we put bleach on hair, either highlights, ombre, balayage, full head bleach, anything like that, we can instantly see that there's previous colour. Even if you say there isn't, because it's like, well, what's that band? And I don't know. Top tip, if your hairdresser asks you your previous hair history, don't lie. Just tell them the truth and just say, oh yeah, I've had this colour, that colour. I've been red, I've been black, I've been blue, I've been green. I've had bleach on it. If you're currently brown, you've had bleach on it. There'll still be bleach under there if it hasn't grown out or been cut out. So we need to know these things, because if we don't, disasters can happen. So
I don't know if toner will take to this, because
no.
There's still some really dark bits. Fuck.
Jesus.
I honestly have no idea what my next step is. I feel like I have to do something, so I'm going to try and tone it.
Don't.
I don't think these bits will tone. I think they're too dark, but...
Listen to your gut. They're not going to tone out. It's too dark. Your best bet would be to go back dark. But I think she's going to try and lift it again.
Is there one way to find out? Okay, so I toned my hair, and while I was doing it, I could tell it wasn't really going to work. So I used Jerome Russell toner. I'd bought... They don't seem to do the ash toner anymore, so I bought some Pearl, did have purpleness to it.
Okay, so she's used a purple toner at this point, and you can see her roots and her ends have got rid of the yellow, and it's sort of a pearly blonde. But that mid-lengths area banding hasn't really been touched because it was too low a level, too warm for the violet to even touch it. So what she was saying was she wanted the ash, which is the blue, to correct the orange, which is good, but it was just too deep a level to do anything, to be honest. And if she'd have put it on her ends and her roots, they'd have gone blue, and then she'd have ended up with this really sort of like murky mid colour. So let's see what she's going to do now.
Yeah, the bits that were like white have toned to like a pearly colour. I never told you what volume of bleach I had, of developer, not bleach, because I remember the comments I got before. But just for anyone who's wondering how I got my very dark hair up to this level, I used 40 volume. Leave me alone. Don't judge me. Leave me alone. I'm going to bleach.
She knew 40 volt, so she's using 40 volt, which is why her head was hurting and why she's got breakage and loss of hair. And you can see that mid band of colour didn't even really do what she wanted it to do. So as an advisory, if you're thinking of doing anything like this, I highly recommend you don't. You can see that it didn't achieve the result she wanted because of all of her hair history was in there. She had her ends which were lighter, which have broken. She's got that mid band of colour which hasn't lifted, and then she's got that mid lengths to root colour which she needed to do in stages of virgin application to make sure that she's lifting the correct areas when she needs to. This video looks quite long, so I think there's more to it.
Bleach it again. Leave me alone.
She's going to bleach it again.
I'm going to wet the ends, put conditioner on them to hopefully work as a barrier. I honestly don't know how old this is, and I don't know what the lifespan is on hair dye, but this is old, at least a year old. I've had it for at least a year, and it could be more. But I didn't want to be wasteful, so I wanted to use this one, so I went ahead and bought... There's a lot of dust on it. I went and bought the same colour, because I usually need two, but I don't know for sure. Oh, like that looks... Regrets!
The ammonia in there must be so high to make her give that reaction.
Today is a Monday, and by Thursday it will be 2 weeks since I started dyeing my...
She's been doing her hair for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And when people come to the salon and we can't achieve it in the first visit, it's a bit like, oh, how come? Hair is hair, and there's different factors and things to get in the way of us not achieving the result after one appointment. So especially if you're as dark as her, and there's no way if people come in the salon we're going to use 40 volt on your scalp to get to this. We would do it in stages because you don't want this, do you?
This has been the longest it's ever taken me, the hardest. Didn't really need to use 2 boxes because I've lost so much hair. There was a time where I would need 3 boxes. I don't know what's more disgusting, me or my hair. It's so dry.
So that was a colour she just put on, and you can see all it's done is colour her hair. There's no lifting. That middle band is still really murky. So all it will have done is try and neutralise. It looks a bit ashier, so maybe it was an ash blonde. So it looks like it's just got away a bit more of the warmth, but the roots and the ends are still really, really bright, and her ends look terrible.
I don't know. Well, it looks worse in person, and the colour is still fucking awful. I regret this. I really thought it couldn't have gone this bad, but it kind of fucking has, so...
If that's not a good example of why not to colour your hair at home, I don't know what would be. So she started off with really dark, natural level through the top. She had really light ends, and she had this really well blended colour in between that she didn't really think about because the hairdresser did a good job on the colour before. And then she just thought, right, I'll just bleach it. get really blonde. Her ends did, but with lots and lots of damage. Her roots obviously lifted well because you got the heat of the scalp, and she used 40 volt. But that middle area where there was previous colour, where it needed to be done in stages and a lot thinner sections to get the lift because the saturation wasn't there, that was the issue. So what she needed to do was not do it at home and go back to the hairdresser, because the hairdresser that she went to looked like she did a really good job. Advice: don't colour your hair at home, or else you'll end up with less hair, breakage, not the colour you want, and it is so much more work for us when you come back into the salon. And not to mention costly. Like, colour corrections are anything from £50 an hour, and they can take 8 hours. They could take 2 services. I mean, you've seen this video. She was doing it for 2 weeks trying to get her hair blonde. It's the same as, think of it as the same as when you're trying to lose weight or keep fit. So you haven't done any fitness for 2 years, and you expect going 2 weeks in the gym you're going to feel better again and look better. It's more like a marathon than a race. So when we're looking at creating colour, when we want to maintain really healthy hair, really shiny hair, and we can't do that if we are trying to blow out your cuticle using 40 volt. So yeah, any advice, hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, it means a lot, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.